What is up, everybody? WitherWords back here, and today we are finishing off the archives and moving on. The archives, like I said in the last video, are pretty long, so this second video is going to be dedicated entirely to the archive. And when you're running through, expect somewhere between 45 minutes to an hour. I could go through it in probably 20-25 minutes if I just hurried through and skip most of the items. But if you're trying to get stuff, and I'm going to show you stuff in the video, expect to take a little longer. If you remember at the end of the last video, we started off inside of a sort of prison, and we need to get out. But first we need to do some leveling up. I upgraded some of my armor a little bit, and now I'm ready to move on. In this video there are going to be some cuts, because during this playthrough I had to go AFK a few times. And I'm sure you guys aren't that interested in watching my character stand there for a good 5 or 10 minutes. So there will be a couple cuts. I tried to speed the video up as much as I could. The video itself was actually around an hour and a half, and I'd say a good half hour of that was me doing absolutely nothing. So I tried to tone it down as much as I could. Hopefully it's quick enough. I see me using a Mitt Force there. Earlier on, when I used it on one of the crystal golems, it didn't do that much. And that's because the crystal golems have pretty high resistance, because you saw those crystal hollows, they took a pretty good beating from that. That door there is locked when we first start, so we need to get the archive tower cell key, which drops off that guy, that serpent guy, who you have to hit through the door. You gotta get a weapon and just slap him in the back there. He will die in one hit no matter what. Doesn't matter what you use. I imagine if you punched him in the back, it would probably kill him. So we get a cutscene playing. We get these tentacle things coming out. They make this seem like it's some really dangerous thing. Honestly, those tentacle monsters aren't all that dangerous, so I don't know. I guess you can not worry too much about them. I started out and immediately go up to the left. You see those serpent guys running up behind me? When you first come out of your cell there, the first time and any subsequent times that you die or something, those serpent guys will run up to the very top and go up this ladder. They will do it every time. They will completely ignore you. They won't try to hit you. If you're feeling lucky, you can try to get a backstab in on them, and they won't do anything about it. They'll take the hit and keep going. But if you don't really need to fight them, you could just let them go, and they'll ignore you completely. I don't recommend doing what I'm doing, which is fighting them at the very top. This is a really good way to get yourself killed by accident, or maybe just accidentally hit the button too many times and swing yourself off. I also don't really recommend fighting them on the bottom, and the reason for that is, it seems to me that more often than not, if I'm fighting them at the bottom of the ladder, one of them will come up, or well, they'll both come down, but one will come down, I'll start fighting him, and then sometime in the middle of the fight, number two will come down and like land on top of my head, and that just screws you up. So I recommend fighting them either up here at the top if you have to, or more preferably down below while they're running up. I'm going to the left. The reason I came up to the top, we can't actually go anywhere up here yet. The door up here is locked. But there's an item down here I want to show you. And I'm going to fail the first time. As you can see, I died. That was the only death in the archives here. Died due to some poor clipping. So I'm running my way back up to the top. I'm just going to ignore the guys this time. And we're going to do it again. Yay! Alright, in here is the it's like a priest set. It says maiden, but I think it's like a sort of comparable to like a priest sort of stuff. It gives you the white seance ring. That will allow you to have one extra attunement slot if you wear it. It has uses. I'm not going to use it. I'm going to go ahead and reset the fire there again. May as well. I won't be using it. You don't need it, certainly. And you see, I'm going to show you. These guys don't attack. They just keep going. And I apparently didn't kill them. I thought I killed them, but I didn't. Alright, so we're going to, instead of going up, we're going to go down. There are some cells on the way down, one of which you can't actually open yet, and one of which you can. You don't have to go in all of them. I think only one of them has an item, and that's the locked one. But I usually open the cell doors. I don't know why. Force of habit. There's the locked door. Going down. Maybe there's one more. Maybe this one has an item in it. Yeah, it does. Alright, so we're going in. You gotta be careful when you're going in. These hollow guys, they kind of blend in with the crystal environment. It's really easy to not see them around the corners and stuff. Because, you know, you already got these crystals attached to the wall and whatnot. If you go all the way to the end here and drop down, you'll find some stuff. There's also hollow down there, so be careful. And the prison extra key. Okay. We did want that. I just can't remember why. We did want it, though. And I'm sure eventually I'll remember what exactly it's used for. But I don't remember what it is right now. So if you want, you can go on the Dark Souls wiki and look up Archive Prison Extra Key. And then you can tell me what it's for, because I honestly don't remember. Alright, now you see all these guys are in the room here. When you die, when you respawn, these tentacle things will stay in the room. They actually won't leave. They'll all reset down here, and that's where they'll be. This can be both good and bad, depending on your playstyle. If you're a pure melee character, it could make things harder. These enemies, you can pull them out one by one just by kind of slowly walking in, and then once you get one, backing out. But if you get too far in, you'll get a couple on you, and if you're a melee character, that can be kind of tough. They're not exceptionally dangerous. You see that water attack? I mean, it's fairly easy to block. It doesn't really do anything to you. But if they get close enough and grab you, and I think I get grabbed here, you should be able to see it. But if they get close enough to grab you, they can do a little spear attack that'll kind of run you through, and that'll do a pretty good chunk of damage. So if you're a melee character, take it slow. If you're a ranged character, and they're all gathered in here, just one at a time. And if you're a magic user, you should be able to just stand at the doorway and clear them out. But I'm kind of giving you a taste of all three ways to do it here. You see I ran in there, got close enough, and our buddy right there decided to come after me. They should stagger on one hit every time. So you should be able to just hit them once and then not have to worry about them anymore. And while we're down here and I'm finishing these guys off, if you see over behind them, there's a cage, and here's my this spear attack. Yep, there we go. You don't want that to happen to you. If you see there's a cage behind them, Big Hat Logan is inside that cage. So is a Firekeeper's soul. To get inside that cage, you need to have a key that we get later on, not in this area. It's fairly far in, and once you get it, you have to do quite a bit of backtracking. So it's really up to you if you consider it worth it. If you want to finish off Big Hat's quest line, or if you want to get his sorceries, you do have to come back here and free him. You don't have a choice there. If you want that Firekeeper soul, you gotta come back. But if you consider both those things to be not that important, then you can just forget about this area and not bother with it. This mob right here always drops a humanity. Or maybe not. Huh. Well, that's strange. I thought she always dropped the humanity. Maybe I'm just really lucky when I run here, and I always get a humanity from her. But I didn't that time. They do drop the miracles. You saw him drop miracles. One soothing sunlight, one bountiful sunlight. You can only use those miracles if you're in the Covenant Princess Guard. I personally don't think it's worth just going into that Covenant for, but you know, that's your call if you really want them. And don't do what I did to get away from those guys. That's not really smart. You do need to be careful though when you go up to that top area. Those 3 serpent guys, they can take you out. They have them set up just right so that if you're not careful, they will just all be up on you at once, and then you're in trouble. As you can see, I'm in trouble. So I recommend if you're fighting them up there, be very careful, or do what I did and come to the bottom. Just don't do it the way I did. Just go back down the ladder. It's the smart man's way. WitherWords isn't necessarily smart. Disclaimer. Don't necessarily try everything you see me do in the video. I'll have that Mythbusters disclaimer up sometime. Although I'm not really professional. Alright, so we're going back up to the top. If you come down here, your first run through the area and you didn't die, this little alarm thing will still be going on. You can shut it off if you want. I don't think it matters. I don't believe it does anything, but that's up to you. But we do have to come up here because this is where the key is to the door at the top of the tower. As you can see down there is Big Hat Logan's prison. So now that we got the key, we can run all the way back up, which is just a lot of fun. And once you're out of the area, once you're out of this area, I should say, you could probably use like a homeward bone or something once you got the key. It's probably the better thing to do, because you don't want to, if you can, fight those guys at the top, those serpent guys. And if you rest at the bonfire, it will remove that. Oh, there's where the prison extra key goes. Oh, ha. Maybe I did know where it went after all. Alright, so cancel those letters to me. I don't need them now. I taught myself the answer by watching myself play the game. Pretty fascinating stuff. Now, you see over there, there's an item over there. See, way over there, probably just like a white dot on your screen. I have no idea how to get over there. I tried to figure this out for a few minutes, and I came up blank. I haven't the slightest idea. So, if anyone has any idea how to get to that, well, that I would be interested in, because I have no idea even what it is. It's just sitting over there, and I couldn't get to it. I finally gave up, because the last thing you guys want to watch is me run around and die trying to figure out how to drop down on an item. I already did that once. We don't need another one. Alright, so now it's time to go to the top. Come on, WitherWords, go to the top. Go to the top. Alright, well, I'll run back to the fire. Pretty indecisive. Alright, so that resets the lizard men. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run to the top. And if I beat them up there, I don't even have to worry about fighting them. But because I don't want to get caught from behind while I'm opening the door, I am going to fight them. And hopefully kill them. In case you're wondering, it was a few days afterwards that I'm recording this audio, so I actually don't remember a lot of what I did in the video. I've been playing some of my other characters. I've also been playing some Lord of the Rings Online. They just released their Riders of Rohan expansion, and it's pretty awesome. I am enjoying it immensely, so I'm somewhat indisposed. But I didn't forget about you guys. You know, we still got places to go in Dark Souls, and we're going to get there. We're going to fill that Lord vessel up. Alright, so we use the giant door key, and we're back out in the sunlight. Beautiful, beautiful sunlight. Be very careful coming out into this area. around pretty much every corner is an enemy. This is kind of like the screw you area. Just when you think you're safe, you turn a corner and there's some guy waiting to beat you down. See? Just like that. You don't want to mess around either with these guys. You know, most hollows, you know, you could screw around and get away with some stuff. You don't want to screw around with these guys. These crystal hollows, they'll put the hurt on you. As you might notice, we are above Anor Londo. As I'm showing right there. However, it's not twilight up here, even though I made Anor Londo dark. I don't know if that plays into the lore or not. I don't know if the curse for Anor Londo only applies to Anor Londo somehow. Or if maybe that's just an oversight on the programmers. They just, you know, said, you know what, we don't really feel like making every area twilight after that. But I don't know. It's light here. In this area we just entered, there are 2 channelers. One is a jerk and is sitting on the other side and will just throw his little soul spears at you the entire time. Feel free to call him whatever names you want. He doesn't care. He's pimping in the channeler's robe. You don't have to worry about anything. The other one is the guy we killed right there, who's right around the corner when you enter. And you want to make sure you kill him. You don't want to let him live. Kill him however you have to. Because if you leave them alone in this area, they tend to come back and haunt you. And as you might notice, I sped the video up a little bit. I do a lot of time running around here trying to figure out where the items are, since I couldn't really remember which areas had the chests at the end. And I spent a lot of time just running around looking for them. I also was under the impression that there's a secret wall here somewhere, but I couldn't figure out where it was. You might want to hit around a bit, see if you find something. I couldn't remember where it was though. You see, I hit there. I couldn't remember where it was, so I gave up eventually. We're going to flip the tower here, because we do need to flip the tower. When you flip the tower in here, it also flips the one on the other side. They're connected. And it'll let you run back out here. And to our left is a little platform we can jump down onto the stairs. If you're a ranged class, I recommend you kill that guy across the way from here, because he has the really annoying habit of disappearing, teleporting, whatever you want to call it, right as you're about to kill him if you jump down. See? I jump down, and he's going to be a jerk. Yeah, he teleports, and he teleports to the other side. So, I finally I just said, you know what, forget you. I got other things to do. But if you're ranged, I suggest taking them out from a distance. There's strong magic shield right there. If you're a sorcerer, that's a really good way to defend against other sorcerers. Whether or not you think it's worth it to put it into your own build, I don't know. I mean, you have limited attunement slots, so kind of got to be careful. I just see I'm going to run around and try to figure out what's going on. I know there's stuff somewhere. I just can't remember where. Silly WitherWords. Items are for kids. Alright, that was bad. Alright, we're running back up. Flip the stair around. Just ignore that jerk up there, because he can't do anything. He just teleports away again. And he's just not worth our time. So we're running down the other side. No, there's no secret door over here. I tried. Alright, and over here is another little doorway. It's kind of lit up. That's the doorway we want to go through. Alternatively, you could go down the stairs in that area, and that would take you down to roughly the same place. But you need to go over here to continue on. When I say you can go down the stairs in that area, I mean to get to this bonfire up here. It would be a way for you to get it to the bonfire. But if you want to continue on through the area, you have to go through that little secret passageway. I haven't the slightest idea what this guy was shooting at. It was like the air, but you know, he's hollow, he's insane. You can't blame him. Alright, so here's our bonfire out here. This is an important bonfire, especially if you decide to warp out of here. If you decide to warp out of here, you can warp back to this bonfire. So you want to get this bonfire. It's the only bonfire in Sea's area, I believe, that can be warped to. So come in here, get it before you continue on. You see I'm going to throw on power within here. I knew going into the Seath fight that because he pretty much only can take physical damage, magic isn't that great. It's too slow really to be super useful against him. Because of that, I was going to have to do some melee damage, and my mace really isn't that good, so I needed some help. Power Within is going to be that help. At least for a bit. I'm not really sure what I was doing here either. I think I was under the impression that there was an item behind that stair there. But there's not. And now I'm really not sure what I'm doing. Because there's nothing up there either. In case you're watching the video and wondering. No. There's no point in coming up here. I was apparently off my meds and couldn't figure it out. What are you doing, WitherWords? Turn it around. There you go. Now you're going the right way. Good lord. Anyways, down here at the bottom we gotta go back into that area we just opened. And because we're so close to Seath... Wow. What was I doing? I don't know. This is somewhat disturbing to watch, considering I'm the one that played it. But I'll talk a little bit about Seath, I guess, while myself is trying to figure out what to do. Seath is not really a hard fight. He's actually an incredibly easy fight. However, if you're a new player, there's an item that's highly recommended you get that I didn't, and it's called the Curse Bite Ring. It's found in New Londo, and when I go through New Londo, I will pick it up to show you guys. It's really more of a fail-safe, because what it does is the Curse Bite Ring makes it where it's almost impossible for you to get cursed. I mean, literally, if you're wearing the Curse Bite Ring and get cursed, you're trying. You are trying to get cursed. And Seath has a couple attacks that can curse you. And that's why it's recommended you get the Curse Bite Ring if you're a new player and you're kind of going through the fight for the first time. Because if you have it, it gives you that fail-safe. You're probably going to die long before you get cursed if you have that ring. And if you do get cursed in this area becomes a million times more difficult. So, yeah, it's up to you how comfortable you're feeling once you get to this area. Like I said in the last video, there's really no specific order that you have to go through. I went into Seath's Archive first because I want to go do the DLC, but you don't have to. You could go to New Londo first, get the Curse Bite Ring, then come here. That's your call. You know, it depends on how ready you are and how comfortable you are with the game by the time you've reached this point. Also, careful in this room, there's a mimic. One of these guys is a mimic. I think it's this last one over here. And there's that giant cell key. That cell key opens Logan's door. So, if you've gotten this far and you decide, you know what, I want to go back and get that Firekeeper soul, and I want to get Logan's stuff, well, there you go. That's where it is. I'm not doing that, though, because I don't care about his sorceries. and I don't have nearly enough health for a +4 Estus Flask to matter. And there's the Crystal Ember as well. You take that to the giant blacksmith. He will upgrade your weapons to crystal. I'm not really a big fan of the crystal weapons, but, you know, it's up to you. That's where it's at. I was still trying to find secret doors. I don't know. I give up. I can't find them. Alright, so these stairs are the entrance to the very last area of the archives. This area is full of crystal golems. The golems aren't hard by themselves, but you need to be ready, because if you get 2 or 3 on you, they hit fairly hard and you can get overwhelmed. So you need to go slowly through the area. Also, at a certain point, Siegmeyer's daughter will be here. There will be a golden crystal golem in the middle of the area. I honestly don't know what triggers it. I've done it once, and I don't know what I did that got it. I know that I did it once, and I know it's out here. So, whatever the trigger is, once you hit that trigger, this is the area you go to get her. And the Siegmeyer questline is actually fairly engaging, especially if you go through it the whole way, and you get a Titanite slab at the end for it. So it's also worth your time if you want to upgrade a weapon to +15. I see. I'm ignoring those guys in the back corner. They don't have anything. There's really no point in engaging them. They're just huddled together, going over a game plan. That's alright. We can leave them alone. This is that armor for that knight we fought earlier. That crystalline armor. It's a pretty cool set. I wish it didn't have to be crystal. I think it'd be a lot cooler if it wasn't crystal. But, you know, what can you do? I didn't program the game, so I don't get to choose. Really careful when those crystal golems raise up and slam the ground like that. That attack does quite a bit of damage. It's pretty annoying. Yeah, don't use a mid-force on these guys either. That was not a very smart move. Nearly got me killed. I really should have been killed. I deserved to die after that one. That was bad. Alright, so when you're ready to leave the area, you come down here to this giant, like, hole in the ground. It's a crystal cavern. I don't know if this is supposed to be a native to the area, or if because of C's work that these crystals appeared. I'm more inclined to believe because of Seethe, but this is the cavern where he kind of spends most of his time, I imagine. Now, in this area, there are a lot of invisible paths. See, I just ran across one. In fact, the only way you can get through the area is by going on these invisible paths. This worries a lot of new players when they get here, but really you don't have to worry that much. The paths themselves are fairly straight. There's really none of them that, you know, have left turns or move back and forth. Once you're on one, you can pretty much go straight. And I'll show you. But a secret, well, not really a secret, but sort of a tip, is these falling snowflakes. When they hit the invisible path, they kind of explode. And that can kind of be your guide as you're going through. Watch where those crystals explode, and that's your path. That's where you can walk. Alternatively, there are prism stones that we picked up at the bottom of those stairs just a minute or two ago. Those prism stones can be dropped on the open air, and if a path is there, they will give you a like multicolored dot. It's just like a dot that you can see on open air. Nice jump there. Although that I don't remember what that guy dropped, but whatever he dropped, I can't get now. But when you're going through, you can equip the prism stones if you're really scared. Alternatively, if you're a pyromancer or a sorcerer even, you can use like magic and throw it on the ground in front of you. If it hits, you know it's safe to keep going. If it keeps going, you know you should not take another step. You saw I jumped down there. When you jump down, immediately turn around. There are crystal lizards in this little cave back here, and you want to kill them. I did a little cut here because I kept quitting and restarting so that I could get them to respawn so I could actually kill them. Don't believe that message right there. There's no imminent fall. You're fine. That's kind of like a developer joke, I think. But the reason I did the cut was because I like quit and restarted 3 or 4 times. See, I used a knife there to show the way in front of me. You can use that. I already used up all my prism stones because on the other side of the crystal lizard is another invisible path that's really long, and I had never gone on it before. But at its end is a blue titanite slab, which I need to get my divine weapon maxed out. So I needed to go that way. But I also took like 20 minutes because I was going so slow. So I didn't show that. I cut it out. Apologies, but it was too long and it really wasn't worth your time. You might have noticed these moonlight butterflies here. They look kind of like they're just scenery, but they're not. They actually are enemies. If you get close enough to them, they will take off and you will have to fight them. So if you're a melee character, that's really bad too, because they don't come back down like the one moonlight butterfly we fought. Alright, in this area here, there's a bunch of these crab gel monsters. They're fairly easy to fight. I'll show you my fight with the last one. The reason I made the cut there is because I was having frame rate issues in this area for some reason. I've never had frame rate issues here before. I don't know what caused it. I'm assuming it was because I was running fraps at the same time. That's really the only thing I can think of. But I was having a lot of frame rate issue, so I just cut through the area. These crab guys, the first time you come through, I recommend killing them all if you can. And that's only if you can. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, you could just run right through. But the reason for that is the first time you fight Seed, there's no fog wall, so they can come into the fight. Now, Seed can kill them with his attacks, so you're not necessarily screwed if that happens. But I recommend getting rid of them so that you don't take any chances. See, I'm also going through here trying to find some curse resistant gear because I don't have the curse bite ring. So I just don't want to take any chances. Getting cursed in this game is not fun. You don't want to be cursed. It's just a pain in the butt. Back to those crab shell guys. I recommend killing them if you can. Also because they drop twinkling titanite sometimes. And if you're using special armor or special weapons, you need twinkling titanite. But we're in C's room now, so I'll let you watch and enjoy. Alright, there he is. Now I'm going to speed up this fight. The reason being, it's incredibly boring and incredibly easy, and there's really no point in me not speeding it up. First things first, you run over, you hit the crystal. I pop power within because I need that extra damage. But once you hit the crystal, you sort of stun him. Now, you can pretty much just watch what I'm doing here. If you do what I'm doing, you will essentially never get hit by Seethe. If you're a melee character, you have no excuse to die right here. And you might see my health ticking away. That's because of power within, that's not because of Seethe. I used power within, and it starts to slowly drain your health. But yeah, you can pretty much just stick to a tentacle, and when he attacks, you run up, hit the tentacle a few times, and just play Ring Around the Rosie. It's just a stupid easy fight. Alternatively, if you wanted to make it faster, You could run up and hit Seethe in his stomach there, his crystal stomach. He takes a lot more damage in the stomach. However, you are under threat of his attacks when you're there. He can hit you. He can't hit you when you're off to the side here. So, I mean, that's up to you. If you're feeling comfortable and feel like you can take it, run to the middle, hit his chest, and you'll do a lot more damage. If not, you can stick to his tail sides here, and you'll never die. Really, the only challenge in this fight is if you want his tail. You can cut Seethe's tail off with a Moonlight Greatsword. If you don't really want the Moonlight Greatsword, I don't recommend doing it, because that actually is really hard to get. When you get behind him, he does some tail slam attacks that really, really hurt. It's about the most damage you can receive from Seethe. So, if you don't need it, I don't recommend trying to get it, but just know that if you run to the back and whack at his tail, you can get his tail. But we're at the end of the video now. We killed Seethe, and that's it for the Duke's Archive. I haven't decided where I'm going to go next. It might be the DLC, it might be another area, but I haven't forgotten about you guys. I'm still making videos, so stay tuned, folks.